Hello students of class 12. Welcome back once again to Indrani ma'am's biology class. Hope you all are fit and fine and studying properly in your home. So in our last class we have learned till the seed, about the dormancy of the seed. A little portion is left from this chapter that I think we will complete today and start another new chapter today only. Now in seed you have to know what are the advantages of seeds. Seeds are of different uses in our daily life. The seeds, it possess better adaptive strategies for the development of a new colony or the development of a new group of plants. The reserve food of seed, it supports the growth of seedling till they become nutritionally independent. The hard seed coat means the covering of the seed. I think last day in your last class I have told you about the tegmen and the testa. They provide protection against injury to the seed. They provide genetic recombination and variation as they are the product of reproduction. Seeds are stored to be consumed throughout the year to overcome drought and different types of calamities, and can be sown again during favorable conditions. Depending on the mobility of the seeds, they can be used to raise crop in favorable season. This is all about seed. You have to learn, you have to draw the structure of the different seeds, the monocot and the dicot, and label it, practice it for the diagrams. Now what is a fruit? The ovary, you know, it matures and fruit is formed, and the ovarian wall, it develops into the wall of the fruit and is known as the pericarp. Now two types of fruits can be basically found. One is the fleshy fruit, another is the dry fruit. Fleshy means those fruits which have flesh, like orange, mango, etc. Dry fruits means the mustard, groundnut which you are consuming. Now based on this type of fruits, it can be differentiated into, one is the true fruit, another is the false fruit. What is true fruit? True fruit is that type of fruit which develops only from the ovary, like wheat, maize, pea. And false fruit is that fruit which develops from the ovary and the thalamus or any other part of the flower, like apple, strawberry. These are the examples of false fruit. And what are the parthenocarpic fruits? The fruits that are formed without the process of fertilization are known as parthenocarpic fruits. These type of fruits do not have seeds, basically, like banana. Now parthenocarpy also, it can be induced artificially by using different types of growth hormones while before production of the fruit. Different hormones can also be used for the purpose of parthenocarpy. Apomixis and polyembryony are the two mechanisms of reproduction. Apomixis is the phenomena of asexual reproduction, or that imitates the sexual reproduction by formation of seeds without the process of fertilization. Understand, another term for apomixis is also, you can say, as agamospermy, same thing. Now what are the ways to develop apomictic seeds? A diploid egg is formed without the reduction division, and that will develop into the embryo without the process of fertilization. In this way, the development of apomictic seeds can be formed. Another way is some cells of the nucellus, which are diploid in nature, they can start dividing, and without fertilization it can develop into embryo, like it happens in citrus fruits and mango. So in this way apomictic seeds can also be formed. Clear? And polyembryony is the occurrence of more than one embryo in a seed. Example, can you say? Orange. The occurrence of more than one embryo in a seed. In one orange, in one group of oranges, you can see many seeds. So this is the occurrence of polyembryony. Now how are polyembryonic seeds formed? Now development of the cells, like the synergids, the cells of the nucellus, the cells of the integument, they can develop into embryo first. Next, formation of more than one embryo sac in an ovule may lead to polyembryony. Or how, in other words, how it can be formed, formation of more than one egg in the embryo sac. If it is formed, then again polyembryony is taking place, or different types of seeds can be formed in one type of fruit only. Understood? So this is all about the second chapter. Read thoroughly the entire lesson. Follow the NCERT book, because NCERT is your main course book. You are reading the reference book along with the NCERT book, but your concentration should be more on NCERT. Okay. Select the topics from the NCERT book, and after that, whatever reference book you are following, read that reference book. Don't go only through the question answers. Okay. Your concept should be very clear. Whatever topic you are reading, your entire concept on that particular topic should be very clear for the board exam. Understood? So with that note, let us start another new chapter, our third chapter, that is the human reproduction. The human male reproductive system is the first one which we will start today. The male reproductive system, it consists of basically three parts. First is the primary sex organ, second is the secondary or accessory sex organ, and third is the external genitalia. Primary sex organ, what are those? Those are the testes. Secondary or accessory sex organ are divided into two. One is the accessory duct, another is the accessory gland. Okay, accessory duct means the rete testis, vas deferentia, epididymis, vas deferens, these are all. And accessory glands means the seminal vesicle, the prostate gland, the bulbourethral glands, or the Cowper's gland, you can say. And external genitalia means externally what features are found, that is the penis. So this is the part of the human male reproductive system. Now we will learn in details about each part. First is the testis. So here in the human reproduction portion, you have to draw the diagram of the reproductive system of male and female both. Female, although I am not starting today, the male one I am telling you. So you have to draw the male reproductive system. Clear? Now you have to learn about the testis. A pair of testes is situated outside the abdominal cavity in a sac of skin, that is known as the scrotum. Okay, scrotum. What is the function of the scrotum? Why these testes are located outside the body? Why not inside the body? The other parts are located inside the body. Why this scrotum or this testis is located outside the body? Because scrotum keeps the testes at a temperature 2 to 2.5 degrees Celsius lower than the internal body temperature, which is necessary for the synthesis or production of the sperms. Clear? And each testis is oval in shape, and it measures about 4 to 5 centimeter in length and 2 to 3 centimeter in width. The outermost covering of the testis is formed by dense fibrous membrane, which is known as the tunica albuginea, and each testis is divided into near about 250 compartments, which is known as the testicular lobule. Understood? This is about the testis, this is about the external structure and both the internal structure together I am telling you. And each lobule will contain about 1 to 5 or 1 to 3 highly coiled tubules, which is known as the seminiferous tubules. And what is the function of these seminiferous tubules? Sperms will be produced in these seminiferous tubules. And each seminiferous tubule is lined on its inside by two specialized cells, which is known as the male gamete or spermatogonia and the Sertoli cells. Clear? Now the spermatogonia, they undergo mitotic cell division to produce sperms. Cell division is a must for production of anything, you know. So here also the spermatogonia undergoes the process of meiotic cell division. And Sertoli cells, what is the function? You have to know the function. Each and every cell has a particular function within the body. Now Sertoli cells, they nurse and provide nutrition to the sperm. They provide nutrition to the sperm or the germ cells, we can say. The regions which is outside the seminiferous tubule, they contain masses of cells which is known as the interstitial cells or Leydig cells. These Leydig cells synthesize and they secrete the male hormone which is known as the androgens or testosterone, which maintain the male sexual characteristics. Clear? Next we will know the next point what I said is the accessory duct system. Now the seminiferous tubules, they open into the vasa efferentia through the ready testis. Clear? Now the several vasa efferentia, they will open into the epididymis and they will carry the sperm outside the testis. Epididymis, what is epididymis? It is a long coil tube which is present along the posterior side of each testis, and it will continue as the vas deferens and they will ascend into the abdomen to loop over the urinary bladder. Epididymis, it will temporarily store the non-motile and immature sperms. And the duct from the seminal vesicle is known as the vas deferens. And these vas deferens together, they will form as the ejaculatory duct. And through the prostate gland, they will pass and they will join the urethra. And they will carry the secretions from the seminal vesicle, and they will carry along with that the sperms from the testis to the outside through the urethra. This urethra will originate from the urinary bladder and they will extend through the penis to its external opening, which is known as the urethral meatus. Clear? And it will carry urine from the urinary bladder. Along with that, it will also carry the sperms from the vas deferens through the penis. Now, after this, the accessory duct system comes the accessory glands. Accessory glands means the secondary gland, which include the prostate gland, the two seminal vesicles and two bulbourethral glands. Prostate gland, what is prostate gland? It surrounds the urethra and produces a milky secretion which forms a considerable part of the semen. And this secretion contains citric acids, lipids and different types of enzymes along with that. The secretion of the prostate gland, it nourishes and it activates the spermatozoa to swim. Understood? This is the first accessory gland, prostate gland. The second accessory gland is the seminal vesicle. The function, they secrete the mucus and a watery alkaline fluid that contains fructose, which provides energy to the sperms and help it to move. Next accessory gland is the bulbourethral gland. Bulbourethral gland, or in other terms we can also say as Cowper's gland, both are same. You can use any term, either bulbourethral gland or Cowper's gland. These are attached to the urethra below the prostate gland and they will secrete the mucus fluid for the lubrication of the penis. Clear? These are all about the accessory gland. And third, I said the external genitalia. External genitalia means only the penis forms this portion of external genitalia. The male copulatory organ, they have erectile tissues and vascular spaces. When a male is sexually excited, these spaces gets filled up with blood and causes the penis to erect. And the distal end of this penis is called the glans penis, G-L-A-N-S, glans penis. This glans penis is covered with a smooth skin which is known as the foreskin or prepuce. Okay, this is all about the male reproductive system. Understood? Read properly in your home. Till this much today. We will continue the next portion in our next class. Thank you.